Hello, welcome to Maths with Jay. So here we're going to write cos x minus root 3 sine x as r cos x plus alpha, and we are being told that r is positive and the angle is acute. So let's start off simply by writing down what we're trying to do. So that's what we're given, and we know that that's got to be equal to r times cos x plus alpha. So in order to do that, we need to use our addition formula for cos A plus B. So let's just write down what that is. And the important thing here is that we've got A plus B on the left-hand side, but on the right-hand side, we've got a minus. So we've already derived that formula, so that we know that cos of A plus B is cos A cos B minus sine A sine B. So what we're looking at here is to have an x instead of the A and an alpha instead of the B. So we're using this formula with A equal to x and B equal to alpha. So let's do that. So we've got r cos x cos alpha minus r sine x sine alpha. And because we're going to be comparing this with the left-hand side, on the left-hand side we've got first of all a cos x and then something times sine x. So we want to write the right-hand side in the same kind of way. So we've got the cos x term first, but we've got an r and a cos alpha multiplying it. So I'm going to make it really obvious that that's the case by writing r cos alpha in a bracket and then the cos x next to that. So that's the same as r cos x cos alpha. I've just written it in a different order and I've put brackets in to make it really clear what is multiplying cos x. And in the same kind of way, I'm going to change the order of the next term and use brackets. So I'm interested in what's multiplying sine x, and here we've got r sine alpha, and that's multiplying sine x. So now it's really easy to compare the left-hand side and the right-hand side. So what we're going to do is compare coefficients, first of all of cos x and then of sine x. So looking at the left-hand side, all that we've got multiplying cos x is 1. Whereas on the right-hand side, we've got r cos alpha. And then we're going to do the same sort of thing for sine x. And we can see that on the left-hand side, we've got minus root 3 times sine x. So we know that root 3 is the same as, looking at the right-hand side, we've got minus r sine alpha. So root 3 must be the same as r sine alpha. Now, in these two equations, we would never expect to have any minus signs. If when you're doing this sort of thing, you do get a minus sign on one side and not the other, you'll know that you've gone wrong. Because notice at the very start in the question, we're told that r is positive and the angle alpha is acute. So we will never have any negatives popping in here. Right, so what we can do next is we can write both cos alpha and sine alpha in terms of r. So looking at the first equation we've got, if 1 is equal to r cos alpha, then cos alpha is 1 over r. And the second equation gives us that sine alpha is root 3 over r. So that means that we can draw a right angle triangle and very easily work out alpha and r. So it's a right angle triangle, and we put our angle alpha down here. And we know that cos alpha is 1 over r, so adjacent over hypotenuse is 1 over r, and the opposite over hypotenuse is root 3 over r. And now we can see very easily from that triangle that the tangent of alpha is opposite over adjacent, so that's root 3 over 1, so that's root 3. So the inverse tan of root 3 gives us that alpha is pi by 3. And then we can find the hypotenuse of this right angle triangle by using Pythagoras. So r squared is 1 squared plus root 3 squared. So r is the square root of 1 squared plus root 3 squared. So that's going to be the square root of 1 plus 3, square root of 4. So r is equal to 2. So let's just clear a space to write down the answer. So we found that r is 2 and that alpha is pi by 3. So x plus pi by 3 goes inside here. And of course you want to check your answer. You could do a really simple check to start with. So for example, a really simple value to check out would be x is 0. So we want to make sure that when x is 0, the left hand side is the same as the right hand side. So let's see what we get. The left hand side is going to be cosine of 0, so that's 1, minus root 3 times sine of 0, so that's minus root 3 times 0. So that's just going to be minus 0, so the left hand side is 1. The right hand side is going to be 2 cos pi by 3, and that's 2 times a half, so that's also 1, so that works out. And it's a good idea to do another check, because you could find that x is 0 comes out right, but maybe another angle wouldn't. What would be an easy one to check here? You can check anything you like, but if we're doing it in our heads, it's nice to choose some that give us nice answers. So I would go for pi by 6. So the left hand side would be cos pi by 6 minus root 3 sine of pi by 6. So that would be root 3 over 2 for the cosine of pi by 6. And then we would be multiplying root 3 by sine of pi by 6. So that would multiply our half. So that would come out to give us the left hand side is 0. And then the right hand side would be 2 times the cosine of pi by 6 plus pi by 3 will be pi by 2. So that's 2 times 0, which is 0. So again, we get the left hand side and right hand side the same as each other. So it looks as if we've got a good answer there.